Good morning, all my 4PG friends. How are you this morning? We are going to start off today's math lesson like we always do in class. We're going to look at a ticket in. So let's look at the problem of the day. Hopefully you had a chance to go in and either take a look at it or print it out, but I have mine in front of me. So Maeve, you're the star of the day. And it says today Maeve needs your help. In the figure, which pair of line segments appear to be parallel? So yesterday's lesson, which was 10.3, we were talking about intersecting lines, perpendicular lines, and parallel lines. And we know that parallel lines are lines that never meet. You think of Buzz Lightyear, they go to infinity and beyond. And when I look at this figure, which I said before, that shapes are made up of line segments. So I'm looking at these line segments. I see line segment FJ and line segment GH. And if I notice that if I keep on going with this line segment, that eventually this is going to intersect. So that's not going to work. So it can't be FJ and GH. So my next choice is, of course, going across. And I see that that is FG and JH here. So that would be the answer to this question. What pair of line segments appear to be parallel? I could write line segment FG and line segment JH. That could be the answer right there. Okay? All right, so let's go right into the lesson of the day, which is 10.4, and it's classifying quadrilaterals. So quadrilateral, well, what's a quadrilateral? Well, I always think of the prefix quad. And quad means four. And every time I think of quad, I think of quads, okay? When I was a little girl, I drove one of those right into a tree. It wasn't fun. My mother said, don't get on one of those. And I went to my girlfriend's house and got on and unfortunately went right into a tree. Still have the scars to prove it. But anyway, so that's how I remember what a quadrilateral. It's a four-sided shape. So let's see what Think Central says. Well, actually, I should say GoMath. So a quadrilateral is a polygon. Now, first of all, what is a polygon? Well, a polygon is any closed, flat-shaped figure. So in other words, this is not a polygon because it's not closed. Also, a polygon cannot have curved lines. So a circle is not a polygon. Okay, so it has to be a flat shape. It cannot have curved sides, and it has to be closed. Those are the restrictions to be classified a polygon. So going back, a quadrilateral is a polygon with four sides and four angles. You can name a quadrilateral by the vertices of its angles. Now, vertices is the plural word for vertex. And we can see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. Okay? Quadrilateral, they're naming it ABCD, is a possible name for the figure shown at the right. Quadrilateral ACBD is not a possible name since the points A and C are not endpoints on the same line, on the same side. In other words, you cannot crisscross. You can go around in any order. I can go back this way, AD, CB, but you have to go in an order. So it's like kind of like the cakewalk, when we used to have the cakewalk and you had to walk around in the square, and when the music stops you win a cake, hopefully, if you're on that lucky spot. So that's how you have to name a quadrilateral. Now, assume that line segments that appear to be parallel are parallel. Okay, let's look at this figure right underneath I'm seeing this caption here, what it says, and it's talking about these things here. These are called tick marks. The tick marks on the line segment show that they have the same length. So side AD and side BC have the same length because look, they have double tick marks. But side AB and side CD have the same length because they have a single tick mark. So that's what that means. The single tick mark, those two lines have the same length, and the double tick mark, those two lines have the same length. All right, so now let's look down here on common quadrilaterals. So these are the five most common quads. So the first one is a trapezoid, and a trapezoid has at least one pair of parallel sides, and I'm going to say at least. That's pretty important for GoMath, because the mathematicians that put GoMath together, that's their definition of a trapezoid. Some actual mathematicians, they disagree with that. Sometimes you'll see it written as at exactly one pair of parallel sides. But we're going to go with this definition, at least one pair of parallel sides. So you can see that this side is parallel to this side. And so that classifies that as one pair of parallel sides. Now, a parallelogram has two pairs of parallel sides. So this and this side is parallel, but also this side and this side is parallel. So that's two pairs of parallel sides. And two pairs, now remember, a pair is like a pair of socks, like Mrs. Pellegrini always used to say. So that means two. So two pairs of sides of equal length. So this is one pair, and this is two pairs. Okay, remembering our tick mark. So that's a parallelogram. The next one is a rhombus. Now, to be classified a rhombus, you have to have two pairs of parallel sides. So here's one pair again, just like the parallelogram, and here's the other pair. But to be a rhombus, you have to have four sides of equal length. So notice they all have just one single tick mark, because that means that all four sides have exactly the same length. Moving on is our rectangle. So a rectangle, I always say, okay, this is not math talk. I have two shorties and two longies, okay? So this one here, you have to have two pairs of parallel sides. So here we go. This is one pair. And going across is my second pair. You also have to have two pairs of sides of equal length. So this is equal to that. That's one pair. And here's my double. And that's the second pair. But to be a rectangle, you also have to have four right angles. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, a square. A square, you have to have two pairs of parallel sides. So again, here's one pair of parallel sides. And going horizontally, here's the second pair of parallel sides. And you have to have four sides of equal length. Well, notice they all have single little tick marks. That means all those sides are equal in length. And you have to have four right angles. Now, let's look at down here. Activity 1, identify right angles in quadrilaterals. So use quadrilateral color guide to color the quads. If you have colored pencils, that's great. I'm just going to put R, B, and O, just like we did the other day. So the ones that have exactly four right angles, well, we can certainly see this one does. So I'm going to put an R in here. And that is the only one that could be classified with four right angles. To have exactly two right angles, well, I see one right here, and that is the only one. And then exactly one right angle, well, there's only one there. So I'm going to put an O in there for orange. Okay. look at this question down here. Can a quadrilateral have exactly 3 right angles? Explain. Well, if it has 3 right angles, here's one angle, here's another right angle, here's another right angle. If it has 3 right angles, could it be? No. Because then it wouldn't be a quadrilateral. Because look, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be a 5-sided shape. So the answer would be no. If a quadrilateral has 3 right angles, the 4th angle must also be a right angle. Otherwise, to connect it, remember, it has to be a polygon. Then it wouldn't be a closed shape. Okay, so let's move on. And now we have to use a Venn diagram to sort these quadrilaterals now. Okay, so let's take a look. So write the names of the quadrilaterals in the Venn diagram. So unfortunately, remember the last couple days we were using icons. They even had an icon for triangle. Well, there's no icon for quadrilateral. So sorry. But we're going to have to write the whole word out. So let's take a look. We need the ones that have no parallel sides to them. And if I look, this one, well, this has parallel sides. This does. Ooh, this one does not. Because this is eventually going to connect with this. That is going to connect with that. So this would be, and the answer here would be, let me move the camera this way so my hand's not completely in the way. I'm just going to put quad. How about that? I'll abbreviate instead of writing quadrilateral. Quad. P, Q, R, S. That's one way I could write that. I try to start with the kind of in alphabetical order if I could. That just makes it a little bit easier. We want to keep our thinking organized. So that would be one way to name that. Okay, there is another one, and I'm looking for no parallel sides. This one definitely has parallel sides. This one has a set of parallel sides, but this one here, this does not have parallel sides. So I'm going to put quad, and I'm going to start with the Q this time. Q, R, N, Z. That one I really couldn't go in an ABC order because just the way that they labeled it, and that's okay. All right, so now I have to find at least one pair of parallel sides. Well, there was a couple, so I'm going to put quad. JKLM is one. Oop, gotta make that uppercase. Do you see another one? I'll give you a couple secs. What do you think? Yeah, you're right. It's T, U, V, W. Now, 2 pairs of parallel sides. I do see 2 pairs of parallel sides. Yeah, I'm going to put that right in here. I'm going to put that where they overlap. Notice this. Because they overlap, not only does it have 2 pairs of parallel sides, but it also, of course, will have 1 pair of parallel sides. So I'm going to put quad, and they didn't give me enough room here, so I'm just going to extend a little bit over. A, B, C, D. And did you find the other one? You got it. Quad, E, F, G, and H. Okay. Now, let's look down here. And before we look down here, what I want you to do is I want you to go into your math part of your binder. and I want you to take out the reteach sheet from 10.4. This is probably the best reteach sheet in 4th grade, and I still use this 4th grade one when I work with my 5th grade friends. I think it's great how they have it. It looks like a flow chart, and it starts up at the top, and as we name each shape, there's more and more restrictions put on it. So up at the top, we think very broad, and not a lot of things that you need to classify that. But as we get down, there's more and more things that you need to have in order to be considered that shape. So it's like when we talk about the students in the Berkeley Heights school system. Well, there's a lot of students, but so that's a very broad category, is the students in the Berkeley Heights school system. But then we can narrow it down a little bit by talking about, well, the elementary students only. That restricts it a little bit more. And then if we talk about the elementary students in Mountain Park, that restricts it even more. Then how about if we get down to the 4th grade students at Mountain Park? That restricts it even more. It's more specific information. Then if we talk about only the girls in 4th grade at Mountain Park, that's even more specific. Or only the boys in 4th grade at Mountain Park. So this kind of works the same way. So what they don't have up here is, the first and foremost is that these are all polygons. Okay, remember those are closed shapes with straight sides. Okay, polygons. Then from there, it's a quadrilateral. That would be your next one. Then, because all of these are quadrilaterals, look, starting from the bottom up. These are all quads. Why? Because they have 4 sides. That's it. All you need to be considered a quadrilateral is that you need 4 sides. Just like my quad here. They have 4 wheels. Okay. Then the next one down is your trapezoid. It has at least 1 pair of parallel sides. Then from there, a parallelogram is 2 pairs of parallel sides. So if you're a parallelogram, you're also a trapezoid and you're also a quadrilateral. Now look, this is where it splits. To be a rectangle, you need to have 4 right angles and 2 pairs of parallel sides. But if you're a rectangle, then let's climb up the ladder here. You're also a parallelogram, you're also a trapezoid, and you're also a quadrilateral. On the other side, to be a rhombus, you have to have 4 sides of equal length. But see, you don't have to have the 4 right angles like the rectangle. But if you're a rhombus, then you're a parallelogram, you're a trapezoid, and you're a quadrilateral. Then, of course, if you are a square, you are, look at how these lines go. You are a rectangle, and you are a rhombus. You are also a parallelogram, you're also a trapezoid, and you're also a quadrilateral. Okay? So now let's go back to this exercise, because this is just like the reteach sheet. Okay, so the directions are: classify each figure as many ways as possible. Write quadrilateral, trapezoid, parallelogram, rhombus, rectangle, or square. So they don't want you to write polygon. I just wanted to, again, show you that. But I want you to keep that reteach sheet out right next to you, because I like to do all of these exercises with my reteach sheet right next to me. And I want you to stay in order. Just, we always stress that, Mrs. Pellegrini and I, just like when we do factors, right? When we do factors, let's say the factors of 24, you always start with the first counting number, 1 and 24. Then it's 2 and 12. And I go on down from there, going in order. Well, we want to do the same thing here. So let's take a look. So is this a quadrilateral? Figure A. Of course it is. It's a quadrilateral. And you can just write quad, Q-A-D. Is it a trapezoid? Well, look at your reteach sheet. Does it have at least one pair of parallel sides? It certainly does, so it's a trapezoid. Is it a parallelogram? Well, let's look. What does it say? Two pairs of parallel sides. Yes, it is. It's a parallelogram. From there, is it a rectangle? Does it have 4 right angles? No. Is it a rhombus? Does it have 4 sides of equal length? No. Well, these tick marks tell me it does not. So I stop there. Make sense? All right, let's go on to the next one. Look at figure B. Starting at the top. Look at the top of your reteach sheet. Is it a quad? 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course it is. It's a quad. Is it a trapezoid? Looking at my reteach sheet. Does it have at least one pair of parallel sides? It sure does. It's a trapezoid. Is it a parallelogram? Meaning, does it have 2 pairs of parallel sides? Well, it has 1 pair. But look, this side here is going to eventually intersect with that side. So it does not. It does not have 2 pairs of parallel sides, so you can't name it a parallelogram. It only has 2 classifications. That's it. All right, I think we all know what this bad boy is. All right, we know he's a quad. Is it a trapezoid? Of course it is. It has at least 1 pair of parallel sides. Is it a parallelogram? 2 pairs of parallel sides? It sure is. Is it a rectangle? Well, it's got 4 right angles and it's got 2 pairs of parallel sides, so it's a rectangle. Is it a rhombus? Does it have 4 sides of equal length? That's what a rhombus is. It sure does. That's what the single tick marks mean. They're all equal in length. So therefore, is it a square? Does it have 4 right angles and 4 sides of equal length? It sure does. So therefore, it's a square. Okay? This is a question. Is a trapezoid always a quadrilateral? What do you think? If you said yes, you're absolutely right. A trapezoid is a polygon with 4 sides and 4 angles, so it's always a quadrilateral. Okay? All right. All right, so now in your book, if you flip to page 569, it's the share and show up at the top. And I'm just going to do this one and then I'll let you guys CBT. Okay? All right, so it says on the top, tell whether the quadrilateral is also a trapezoid, a parallelogram, a rhombus, a rectangle, or a square. So we have to think. Blank pairs of parallel sides. Well, how many pairs of parallel sides? Not how many sides are parallel, but how many pairs. Remember, pairs are 2. So this is 1 pair, and this is 2 pairs. So it has 2 pairs of parallel sides. How many sides are equal in length? Well, I can see that it has those single tick marks. So the answer on that one is going to be 4 sides of equal length. How many right angles? Well, actually this one has 0 right angles. So quadrilateral ABCD is also a parallelogram. Good for you. What else? Yup, you're right. It's a rhombus. And it's a trapezoid. Now, I kind of went out of order, didn't I? Oh, I don't like that. Okay, I probably would have said it's a trapezoid, it's a parallelogram, and then a rhombus. I'm looking at the teacher's edition, believe it or not. That's the order right here. This is the order of the teacher's edition. I don't like that. I like to stay in order. All right, so I'm gonna pause at this time. I'm gonna give you some time. I want you to pause the tape and try this. 2, 3, 4, CBT, okay? And then, so in other words, pause now and then start up again once you have these 3 answered. Make sure you're going in order, just like your reteach sheet, starting on the top and go straight down. All right, guys, back again. So here we go. Here's the answers to the ones that you just gave a try to. All right, here we go. So number 2, you see number 2. There's number 3. And number 4. How'd you do? All right, great. All right, pause the tape again. You're going to do numbers 5, 6, and 7. CBT, give it a shot. Go. All right, now I'm back. Here's your answers. Okay. Now for most of my friends, you can give the next page a shot. You can pause it at this time. I'm going to show you the answers when you come back. Okay, here are the answers. Here's for number 8. If you have something similar to that for 8, that's great. There's the answer for 9. And here's connect to art. And this is possible answer what you should have. And again, remember, you can pause the tape at any time. All right, so what I want you to do at this time, I want you to try to work on the practice and homework, pages 571 and 572. And I'm going to put the answers up for you. You can always come back to this and see what you get. If you have any questions again on the spiral review, those questions on page 572, if you don't know how they got the answer, just let us know. We'd be happy to work it through with you. All right, have fun. All right, friends, here's the answers to page 571. There's 2, 3, and 4. And here's 5, 6. And of course on 7, they never give me the answers, but use your best judgment. And on page 572, here's your answers. And here's your answers for 3 through 6. And of course, number 6, that's just a possible answer. Okay? You might have had a different one, like uppercase I, uppercase H would have worked. Okay? Also, if you wanted to do the reteach sheet, I'm going to give you the answers for that too. So you might want to pause the tape, come back to it. Here are the answers for the reteach. All right, friends, hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.